YouTube's new AI tools are a game changer for creatives. Apparently. This is the headline of an article by TheWrap's Kayla Cobb, which landed in my email inbox while I was working on a kind of similar video a month ago. And while I promise I'm not pivoting into full-time hating on one Hollywood trade, I did think I was maybe in a good position to break down for a general audience, for this website's users, how the glorious future of artificially intelligent content creation actually looks from the inside, and why I don't, not as literally any other creator I know, agree with that headline. First, we'll survey YouTube's existing AI tools, next we'll go through the big slate of new ones the company's gushing about, and then we'll talk about the quiet part they're not. I'm only really interested in TheWrap's article today as a jumping off point, as an example of how YouTube's PR is being received in media spaces, but I will quote one sentence here to get us started. If you look between the lines, YouTube's new tools tell a story about where the company sees the future of entertainment. That future involves live streaming, increased globalization, and lots of AI. You'll see by the end of the video that this is kind of true, but that it definitely is not the whole story. Just before we get into it though, AI, right? A spooky topic. Apparently some people think there's a danger that the glitching chatbots telling us to eat glue could become robot gods and destroy life as we know it. To be clear, I am not one of those guys. Whole video about that coming at some point soon, but if civilization does get destroyed, today's sponsor could end up being pretty helpful. I've partnered with Hungry Minds to tell you about the book, The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding a Civilization, which is a best-selling illustrated encyclopedia that takes you through the history of invention. It's full of these lavish, annotated cross-section guides on everything from baking to infrastructure to aviation. The book is the result of a successful crowdfunding campaign, and over 50 professionals and 0 AI models were involved with putting this thing together, and you can tell it's chock full of so many of these really detailed illustrations you can get lost in. It does just feel like a high-quality production all around, from the matte art paper to the laminated hard covers. I'd be chuffed to bits if someone got me this as a gift. Bang, a coffee table centerpiece. I don't even have a coffee table. There are even hidden puzzles throughout. Look for the butterflies, that's my hint. So if that sounds up your street at all, or like the perfect gift for someone you know who's got a particularly curious mind, follow the link in the description and order your copy today. That being said, if the state of YouTube's AI implementation is anything to go by, I don't think a Skynet situation is imminent. Let's talk about it. So where do we stand in terms of existing, already implemented AI functionality? Well, first, and perhaps most infamously, there are the AI comment replies YouTube generates and prompts you to post. You know, someone, a person, a whole human being has watched something you made, cared about it so much that they felt compelled to share their response, but our response to that as creators shouldn't be to think about that response, maybe reach out and connect with it ourselves. No, apparently we should just gaslight that commenter into thinking we did with a prefabricated AI output. Plenty of creators far bigger than I have talked about this feature, so I will just touch on it briefly, but these suck, right? Due to the nature of the language models being used, these replies do not and cannot simulate me, and that's bad because of the obvious reason it defeats the basic purpose of replying to comments, severs these moments of creator-audience connection, but it's also bad because of the other obvious reason. These replies are not my opinion. No, YouTube AI, fuck off, this is not what I think. But these comment replies never really were YouTube's headline AI feature though. No, that'd be the YouTube Studio's ideation tab. In theory, this is the place to go to refill your creative juices if you're at a loss for what video to make next, either because you don't know what your audience would respond to or because you're plumb out of ideas. This tab provides suggestions. Again, in theory. In practice? I mean, you guys want to watch beyond the meme what's really being said? No? So maybe the element of this you'd think would be most helpful is the way the tab purports to tell you which topics your viewers are most into. For instance, it's telling me here that a video about AI hype would be very popular with my viewers, but I don't think that's true. I recently put out my longest video ever, which weirdly enough is basically the same topic as this suggestion. It's called AI is not the solution, and it isn't doing great views-wise. I know from the comments and from the view retention that the people that watched it really dug it, but I also know from the click-through rating and the readouts other parts of YouTube Studio gave me that this was not a topic that appealed to a huge swathe of my subscriber base. So, you know, which is it? Do my audience like this topic or don't they? To be honest, I don't even think this is a hallucination. I think it's just a question of poor implementation. No, I think all the AI ideation suggestions are going off is what topic my recent views are coming from, which isn't really the same as being very popular with my regular returning viewers, is it? Contradictions aside, the other point that must be stressed here is that ideation. This is how these features get pitched. Generate ideas, but you aren't given ideas, you're given titles. And more often than not, yeah, titles for videos you've already made. That's literally the second section of YouTube bad. Probably wouldn't shock you to learn that as a result of these ridiculous and ridiculously underwhelming features, I have yet to speak to any creator, any out of the maybe 2 or 3 dozen I consider to be acquaintances or friends, who has a remotely positive opinion on these functionalities. But let's be charitable. That was then. What about now? Alright, so when I got that TheWrap email blast, I did skim read the piece. The main things that stood out to me then were the misrepresentations, like the way YouTube's new title thumbnail A/B tester was included in the list of compelling new AI features. Now, the A/B tester is very cool, but it's not AI, unless we're stretching the already frayed definition of that buzzword far beyond breaking point. Notably, YouTube does not attempt to claim it as such in their creator roundup video, so I kind of left the article there. After all, I was midway through production of a big video all about another time TheWrap had emailed me some misleading pro-AI drivel, and adding a tangent on this felt redundant. No, the thing that really sent me down this AI features rabbit hole was a conversation I saw on a video essay Discord server I'm on. An update from YouTube's Creator Insider channel announcing Extend with AI, a feature that lets you take a video, pick one of a couple preloaded prompts, and generate a new ending, was shared. And it was shared by Kiki Crazed, a creator who I think it's fair to say knows more about the online video ecosystem than I do, and whose opinions towards YouTube tend, I think, to be more charitable than mine. But with this feature, and I'll quote Kiki's message, since you're not even able to input your own prompts, you can't even make the argument that AI is enabling creativity or whatever. It's junk. So that's Extend with AI. Probably the headline feature, though, is Create with AI, the introduction of whole cloth video generation into the YouTube backend. Creators will soon be able to use Google DeepMind's VO3 model to generate shorts. And that is undeniably something. I have reservations about how exactly this helps YouTube's creators create, which I'll circle back to, but the thing I want to note here is the tension between this feature and some other 2025 YouTube news. The fact that only a few months ago the site updated its monetization guidelines to disincentivize AI-generated videos. Those were inauthentic. That was a problem. But this is different for reasons. The other game-changing AI features being trumpeted by YouTube and the press alike include something that adds ads, more ads on top of your existing ads, so if you're eligible you get kickbacks whenever you're talking about certain products. And also, one other incoming new thing is the ability to chop up a live stream into shorts within YouTube Studio. We're told this will be AI assisted, but it seems all that actually means is the tool will suggest high engagement zones in the stream to clip your shorts from, and if that is the case, it does seem like we're maybe stretching that definition again. And this is a pretty handy feature, but not really because of the AI part, just because of the way an integrated on-platform shorts clipping pipeline streamlines a process. We're told YouTube are also working on an AI editing feature that supposedly cuts together your footage for you and even adds sound and voiceover, but I'm not even going to dignify this one with a serious response, because if you think this will be able to produce a quality edit with interesting voiceover, then I have a bridge to sell you.
I'm pretty sure I have finally perfected the ultimate gooey chocolate chip cookie.
Good job, robot. You saw there was a cookie and you spat out the most cookie cutter sentence imaginable. That's probably exactly what the baking channel's video would have been. I made yummy cookie. Yeah, subscribe to be subscribing to them for sure. Oh, and we'll also be able to AI generate visual loops for podcasts soon, you know, just in case you wanted the graphic you're not looking at to waste more water. And bafflingly, an AI dialogue-to-song function is in development.
Isn't it almost cuffing season? I know you're looking for that new date spot.
Isn't it almost cuffing season?
I don't know why they made that. Another major AI feature YouTube are trumpeting is Ask Studio.
We're launching Ask Studio, a new conversational AI partner in YouTube Studio to help you get insights on your community, understand analytics, and find new inspiration.
I could talk for a while here about how analytics actually offer less insight into video performance than you'd probably think, and how fixating on them is more likely to burn you out than it is to boost your views, but A, I basically did that like a month ago, and B, there's already a fantastic video by Super Eyepatch Wolf out there, which includes a kind of survey with all your favorite creators co-signing that very point. The studio improvement that might help is more transparency behind the analytics we see. If a video I thought would land didn't, it would help to know, for instance, which type of viewer profile YouTube had served the impressions to, that sort of thing, but that is not what's on the cards here. For whatever reason, I don't actually have access to this feature myself yet, which is just eating me up inside, let me tell you. But the top comment on YouTube Creator Insider's announcement video is from someone who does, a small creator, in theory the intended audience for this feature. I'll give you 3 guesses whether they found Ask Studio to be helpful, and you're not going to need 2 of them. So, no, a chatbot repackaging the info we already have isn't going to be a difference maker for smaller creators, and if it does accomplish anything, I think the most likely outcome of giving stressed out YouTubers a robot conveying the illusion of agency is the further degradation of creator mental health, which I mean is the one thing we know AI can do effectively, right? So maybe this one does make some sense after all. Finally, a use case. Really, the more I looked into the rest of these features, the more I saw that this AI YouTube push fits right in with the character of the wider AI hype in that, by and large, we're looking at solutions in search of problems, but also in that industry cheerleaders are only too happy to rebrand existing technologies as AI, and in that the ways it's getting jammed in our faces seem designed to artificially inflate uptake. Because as Kiki also pointed out, the opt-in for Extend with AI is lumped together with the existing Allow Remix option, presumably because YouTube realizes a dedicated Allow AI in Slopification checkbox would go largely unchecked. And of course there is the auto-dubbing thing, also enabled by default. While uncanny and fairly ghoulish, I won't pretend the ability to automatically translate your videos into a parsable facsimile of a different language won't prove useful, or at least profitable to some creators who choose to use it. What I will observe, though, is that even this isn't a tool to help you create, it's a tool to help you turn the same amount of creation into more product. And actually, that's kind of the case with all of these, right? It's telling, I think, that one of the only YouTuber voices TheWrap's article cites, Colin Rosenblum, some YouTube guru type I'd never heard of, doesn't talk about creation, about creators even. No, talks about the potential benefits for independent content producers. Because the dubbing, the AI-assisted shorts trimmer, the ideation tab that jumbles up your existing videos and vomits titles back to you, the podcast visuals generator, the words create, creative, creation are plastered everywhere in these announcements, and even with the AI editor, the VO3 integration, Extend with AI, the fucking song thing, these features are not helping you make, they're making something for you to release, to push, to be viewed, to be monetized, to be gulped down with the least possible friction. Second order content under the guise of creation. And news on another upcoming feature actually broke as I was writing this. YouTube will start automatically upscaling lower quality videos with AI. That's relevant here because it's also getting enabled by default, with the very euphemistic opt-out buried deep within Studio's advanced settings. And with over 20 billion videos currently on YouTube, a huge number of which are lower quality, are on dead channels, which won't be opting out, you do wonder how many glaciers YouTube's gonna be melting for this particular worse than pointless feature. Now, in some explanatory media released alongside this news, YouTube have pointed to the growth in TV viewership as the motivating factor for this change, reasoning that people watching YouTube videos on the big screen need to be able to do this with the same clarity they'd be offered watching cable or Netflix. But this logic does feel a little backwards. The crowd's already started watching YouTube on TV, right? Clearly, the fact that some older videos aren't HD has not stopped that shift from occurring. If visual clarity, the guarantee of visual clarity projecting back across the decades were the deciding factor here, was more important than what this platform offers, more direct homegrown forms of connection, traditional shows and networks wouldn't be getting beaten out by YouTube's TV viewers. But again, this is worse than pointless, I think. Let me tell you why. Look, this is a video essay, more or less. I know I'm supposed to quote like historians and anthropologists and so on, but I kinda want to quote another Discord message here. In response to the AI upscaling news, Cap, one of the mods on the Pillar of Garbage Discord server, shout out the Pillar of Garbage Discord server, wrote, "Old YouTube is meant to be watched in 480p. Leave it alone." And he's right, isn't he? He's right in the way you're meant to play Pokemon Diamond version on a DS, not on a jailbroken iPhone emulator. In the way you're supposed to watch black and white movies in monochrome. In the way anyone buying one of those Jane Austen but in modern English books should be shot out of a fucking cannon. And I'm not just talking about what might have been the intended viewing experience. No, video quality is one sign in a vast network of signification that helps us place, helps us cite that video in relation to ourselves, to the video's creator, to the platform we share. The meaning of Smosh lip-syncing the Pokemon theme song would have been different if that video were HD then. The fact that it was not being created with cutting-edge equipment was undoubtedly relevant to the way it landed for viewers across the world. And the meaning of rewatching it now would change too if it lost the mark, lost the sign of being an artifact of YouTube's homegrown, hobbyist dawn. Perhaps that watching does become easier, more seamless to the viewer of today not possessing those nostalgia goggles, but that watching does become different too. Some specificity, some meaning is lost. At more or less the same time Smosh uploaded that video, philosopher Byung-Chul was writing about the sightlessness produced by the 21st century's globalized, networked cultural landscape. As he puts it, under conditions of hyperculture, different forms or styles from different sites and ages are de-distanced in a hyper-present. This hypercultural side-by-side extinguishes the aura, which emanates from a specific here, from unique sites and specific times. Han didn't think the advent of hyperculture, of a being here that coincides with being everywhere, was necessarily a negative change. What we lose in aura, a specific here and now, we might gain in freedom, a repeatable then and later, he speculates. Honestly, I think that sort of techno-optimism is the biggest tell hyperculture was written 2 decades ago, because there is a difference between the sort of decontextualizing, aura-stripping artifact collage something like a search engine or something like YouTube historically has provided, and the forcible updating, the forcible homogenizing of those artifacts something like auto-enabled AI upscaling/dubbing provides to the remnants of early YouTube. This is not, in Han's words, here and now becoming a repeatable then and later. It's here, now, then, and later becoming always here, always now, which is to say, becoming nowhere, becoming never. Updates like these are not interested in the old or the new, in a viewer's sightedness or their freedom. Only in product, only in number go up. But I don't want to get too hung up on questions of reality, attempts by YouTube's AI team to redefine or remake it, all that, because there is a very real way in which all of this is missing the point. When you hear the phrase AI on YouTube, even now, even after watching all of this, what do you think of? Not these features, right? No, you think of dead-eyed, uncanny narrators delivering stale monologues. You think of content farms who have pivoted to ChatGPT recaps. You think of mangled history shorts flooding, dumbing down feeds. You think of reports like the TechCrunch piece I showed earlier. All those videos YouTube is taking pains to block or disincentivize because they know it weakens the draw of their platform. To quote the end of the TechCrunch piece, the reality is that allowing this type of content to grow and its creators to profit could ultimately damage YouTube's reputation and value. It's no surprise then that the company wants clear policies in place that allow it to enact mass bans of AI slop creators from the YouTube Partner Program. Mere weeks after Kayla Cobb's TheWrap article we started with went out, Cobb penned another piece for the site, detailing YouTube's continued efforts to deal with the dangerous AI content like creator impersonations still flooding the platform. One more feature YouTube will soon roll out is a likeness detection and takedown tool. To me at least, this seems like the most consequential YouTube AI feature yet, so is it not bizarre it hasn't received the same laudatory coverage as the dialogue to song or dog simulator tools, that it doesn't get a mention in any of the YouTube Insider videos I've played you so far, that Cobb's first article only gives it a passing mention, barely probing why it needs to exist, why it's being rolled out to all of us? Well, no, it's not that strange really, is it? Because that'd be inviting the elephant even deeper into the room, wouldn't it? Would illuminate the platform's rather clumsy efforts to have their AI spaghetti and eat it too, the incompatibility of the authenticity platform of YouTube with Google's corporate imperative to shove the floater they've burnt hundreds of billions of dollars shitting out into it. Even as TheWrap's article quotes a director of community at YouTube who acknowledges how important authenticity is to YouTube's platform, neither spokesperson nor journalist so much as acknowledges these contradictions. So I do agree with Cobb, at least to a point. If you look between the lines, YouTube's new tools do tell a story about where the company sees the future of entertainment, and yes, it does include lots of AI, but it doesn't include all the AI, not the slop people actually notice, not the junk gumming up the works, just the pointless, headline-grabbing, investment-justifying nothing burgers we're all too familiar with by now. But more to the point, that story is neither a credible one, at least not to anyone who knows how the sausage gets made, nor a hopeful one. And it could be, so easily. There are some great updates YouTube are releasing alongside the AI schlock, the A/B tester, collaborations, the media kit, maybe even the advert snipper that I would be excited about in a world where it's not all getting bogged down by environmentally destructive malware that is so clearly extractive in intent, aiming to further commodify me, to wring more and more pennies from every original thought I'm foolish enough to squeeze out on here. As it is, though, YouTube's AI future is clearly a joke, is clearly a failure to those of us it purports to serve. As for those it actually serves, the real intended audience, the press, the shareholders, the executives, this non-functional elephantine penny has yet to drop. The basic fact that there's no point commenting on a video if you know your reply might not be real, that there's increasingly little point loading up YouTube as the you disappears, that we've all developed an instinctive and violent gag response to that goddamn sparkle emoji, continues to elude their understanding. I have a feeling they'll get the picture soon enough. Maybe it'll sink in better if I turn that dialogue into a karaoke version. One sec. Environmentally destructive malware. Malware that is clearly a joke, is clearly a failure. You guys want to watch Beyond the Meme What's Really Being Said? Shot out of a fucking cannon. Shot out of a fucking cannon. Hundreds of billions of dollars shitting out. That's kind of it for this little look at AI on YouTube though. If you're a creator, please do chime in down below. Let us all know which of these features excites you the most. If you're a viewer, let me know what you thought of this, and you might even get a response written by a person. No promises. But yeah, I kind of wasn't planning to make my notes on this into a full video, despite what the ideation tab tells me. I am getting the picture you guys might have a limited interest in these topics, but I kind of wanted to give you guys something back because some of you may have seen that I posted a little bit of a Patreon call to action, laid out the goal for 200 members by the end of the year. And I did post some stretch goals above that point too, but to be honest, I was mainly shooting for that 200 number, which I wasn't super confident I'd even hit, but less than a week after I made those posts, 40 more of you have signed up on either Patreon or YouTube. We are over the 200 mark, and so I wanted to get something out as a little bit of payback ahead of the next long video I have cooking. So thanks again to all you guys on screen now. Thank you for helping me create, not just produce, especially Hanan, Daniel Goldhorn, Deathstroke HQ, Harry Price, Kwanghu Liu, Nothings, Steuer, Something Capitalism Bad, Stephen Van Doren, Thomas R, and Weirdy Beardy. And I hope this is something. Also, no more meta videos for a minute. More media/political discourse analysis inbound. Give me a couple of weeks and I'll hit you with a real banger.